Hello, welcome back. And today we're doing a little different kind of a video. I was having a conversation with my dad and he was telling me how many kids Elon had and was bringing me all up to date. And then I was discussing like the psychology behind all of that and I was like, oh, this would be so much fun to share with you guys. So, we're talking about why women want to be with men like Elon and the psychology behind it. So, as you guys probably, most of you know, which I don't follow the news, so that's why I didn't really know, which didn't change anything in my life. So that just goes to show you can not know the news and everyone is going to tell you all the things that you need to know. So, Elon, as of now, when I'm making this video, has 12 kids. And when I heard that, I was like, wow, that's quite a few. I mean, you don't usually hear about that very much. And unless, I don't know, some family is, super family oriented, like Mormons or something, right? And I was surprised, but I was also like, he's standing by what he said, right? Because his biggest thing, well, he has a lot of big things, but one of the biggest things I remember him saying is that the most dire thing, or whatever word he used, that the world is going through, it's not environmental warming or anything like that. It's actually the birth rate crisis, that people are not having kids, or they're just having one or two. And that is not enough to keep the population going. And it'll all just be run by immigrants if it keeps going like this, and of people that we don't really want running things. I mean, who are the ones having the most kids? I think Muslims are like one of the top ones, right? They can have like multiple wives and they can have like lots of kids. I remember when we went to Jordan and they're like the sweetest people and it was a lovely trip. And we were talking to one of the guys at Jerash, which was an old Roman, site. And he was making these beautiful little jars of sand and like drawing camels with a stick from the outside, and it was just like mind-boggling. And he was saying that he has 30 brothers he has 30 brothers, because they don't talk about the sisters, right? And Dad was like, that's not a family, that's an army. And it was just funny, but it just goes to show that like those people are having tons of kids, and over here in our highly civilized, think we know so much society, we're having 0 kids, or 1 kids, or 2 kids. And I know that wasn't the right plural form, but it's just kind of annoying. And yeah, so Elon says that that's like the major crisis of today, so at least he's doing something about it. So I can commend him on that he says this is the thing that is like destroying our country or the world, so I'm going to do something about it, and I'm going to do my part. And I think that's very commendable that he said that and he's sticking with it. That's what really gets me about most people, is they say what's going on with society or whatever, and now I'm getting super passionate. They say what's going on out there and oh, how bad it is, and oh, people doing this and that, and yet they don't do a single thing about it, or they're letting their own kids and grandkids live the exact same way as society and everything else that they talk about not to do. And then they're in all these clubs and stuff, like political groups and all this, trying to change other people. And it's like, start with yourself and your family instead of worrying about everybody else out there. That is definitely my opinion. You guys probably have different opinions on that. But I know in the Bible it says he who doesn't, take care of his family is worse than an infidel. And I know that's talking more of to the guy, but that can also be definitely put towards the girl too. Towards the woman, the wife, the mother, the grandmother. And like it says it in Proverbs, right? That a woman either builds up or tears down her house with her hands. And anyways, so this stuff really gets me, that if people are like, oh, if they agree with Elon that, oh, we should be having more kids, and they're the ones with like 0 kids or 1 kid or 2 kids, which I'm not saying anything against it because I'm part of a 2-kid family, but I'm just saying, okay? And so now let's talk about why women actually want to be with Elon. Because to most people it'd be kind of like, why would, like, he's been with quite a few people. So So like, and the ones that he's with, that he's having kids via surrogate, and or he'll just like get someone pregnant so that she carries his kid and then he keeps the kid, things like that. It's like, why would a woman want to do that? Like, why? Or when someone got married to him, like I think he's been married one time, 2 times, definitely more than once. Why would the woman want to be with him? I mean, he's the richest guy, but he's so busy that he's not going to be giving the girl, the wife, a lot of time, right? Because, his work is his passion. That's what entrepreneurs are like. Their work is their life. And you can either tag along and be okay with not very much attention, or you just get unhappy and you get a divorce. And that's usually what we see happen, right? And I think that's because most women don't understand that what they're getting into. That sure, they're going to have all the money, but they're not going to have the actual providing of what a man brings other than money. And that's a huge misconception, that a lot of women think that a provider just means he's bringing the money. And it could not be further from the truth. A provider is not just that he's bringing the money. Provider is when he's providing for you emotionally, providing for your needs, your, providing the container, the safe place for you to go out with, to, be helping you take care of the kids, like all the things, like a family man when you think about it. That's what providing is. It's not just slapping down a paycheck and leaving you. Like, some women are okay with that, and you just have to know if you're okay with that or not. And that's where I wanted to go into the 4 types of men. So as a woman, you need to figure out what kind of man you need, so you're not going to be unhappy with him down the road, because this is who he is at his core. And if you figure that out down the road, it's not going to end very well, because he's going to feel unvalued for who he is. And it's not like he changed, it's almost like you changed of wanting something different that you already knew going into it. So there's the 4 different kinds of men. There's blue collar workers, which are like your plumber or the average construction guy who's like digging the ditches and stuff like that. And he's going to be doing extremely hard physical labor. So when he comes home, he's going to want to zone out. He's going to either want to like play video games or turn the TV on and just like zonk out for a while. And as the woman, if you choose like a person like that, you have to be okay with knowing that the pay isn't going to be that great, and he is going to want to do that as soon as he gets home. So you can't be like piling him with all the stuff that happened throughout the day and all the things you need him to do, which you shouldn't do to any of the types regardless, but just putting that out there. And then you have the white collar. The white collar guy is like, I don't know, your average like office worker, and makes a little bit better money, but not like super wealthy or anything. And so now you have blue collar, and now you have white collar. And then there's the intellectual romantic, I've heard it called. And these are your intellectual types. They're your doctors, lawyers, accountants, what's the others? Like architects. I'm trying to think. It's like the main 3 that like Indians push their kids into in college. It's like doctor, lawyer, and one other thing. One of you guys will have to tell me, because I can't think of it. But just think of those, or like a pilot or something like that, where they're making like, I don't know, over $100,000 a year, like $200,000, $400,000 a year, like pilots will do, or lawyers or doctors. And he's going to be your family guy. He's going to be doing his job during the day, and then he wants to, and making really good money, and then wants to like be with the kids and like be around the house. He's not going to be super ambitious usually. And so you have to be okay with that. And then you have your entrepreneur, and he's the one that's going to be out hustling all the time. Like his work is his life. Like that is what keeps him going, gets him going. It's his love. And so if you're going to be with an entrepreneur, you have to be okay with knowing he's going to be gone like pretty much all the time. And you're just going to be fit in around his schedule. So, I mean, you're not going to feel exactly prioritized and all that, but you'll have all the money you want. And if whatever fulfills you is that he doesn't have to be there like a lot of the time, but you're happy with like the nice car, the nice bags, the shopping, being with friends, trips, things like that, then that will work out perfect. But you just have to know. And, and women want different things. So when someone is looking at the women who are with Elon or have been with Elon and they're like, man, how could they like be with a guy like this and all that? Well, different women have different wants. They have different desires, different things they want out of life. And while you may want a guy who's like with you all the time, some other woman might be totally fine just knowing that they have a ton of money and their kid is going to have this certain last name and is going to be getting an inheritance and you're going to be taken care of for life. So there's, different ways of seeing that. And now I want to get into the little darker version, or darker, not version, but the darker side of all of this, which is why would a woman want to be with a type of man like Elon? Or in the same retrospect, why does a guy want to like have the desire, and some of them do act on it, to like have as many kids with as many women as they can? So let's get into this one. There is so much to this. This is why in the Eastern culture you vet a guy before, you let your daughter marry him. Or both families are vetting each other and the families themselves and seeing what the brother is like and the uncles and all this stuff. And you look like 7 generations back as far as you can, because whatever the father was like, the grandfather, the people around, that's going to show the role models that the man had. And a lot of times we want to just give a guy a chance that came from a bad family or whatever, but this is your life. You can be ruining your life by marrying the wrong guy. And if a guy didn't grow up with good role models, unless he has totally taken upon himself to like be amazing, I don't know, like Lewis Howes of like the School of Greatness or something like that, where he is so into self-development and everything, which I would say most guys are not, you're going to have a really rough life because he won't have known how to be a man, and you're going to end up being his mother, and it's going to end up with a lot of unsatisfaction, bitterness, and resentment on both sides. And yeah, so you don't have to just pick someone just because you feel sorry for them. That is not a good way to start a relationship, or to just give someone a chance. I mean, the superficial love, that love feeling that happens in the beginning will fade pretty fast once all the values and how he is and everything comes out, and once all the little butterflies and everything goes away. So, what we see a lot right now, like why society is going the way it's going, is women are the gatekeepers of the DNA, and they're just letting any guy, take them to bed and have their kids with them, which is totally dumb. Like, why would you just let yourself do that? I mean, you can get so sick, or you can die during childbirth, like all kinds of things. And yet you're just gonna let this guy who can just like do his thing and then be gone in an hour. Like, that's kind of a precarious situation. And it's not empowerment, as people like to say. They don't show the woman like crying at the end of that, or she finding out she's pregnant and not having the help of a father, or anything like that. The devil only shows you the glossy magazines of how it's empowerment and freedom. So that's one side of it. So women are having like kids, they're baby mamas, like as the term goes, that she will have like 3 or 4 kids with 3 or 4 different guys. And then what will she do? She will find a nice provider guy that is willing to take, and is a nice guy willing to take care of her and all of her kids and raise them to keep them all like alive and healthy and happy. And guess what? That provider guy's genes is not getting spread. It's all of those chads, or whatever people call them these days. all of those genes are being spread, and they're being kept alive and propagated by these nice provider guys that are helping do that. And so we have this going on where bad genes are getting spread and the good guys are having like 1 or 2 kids or no kids. Whereas like the playboys are having like, I don't know how many kids. Like I have zero idea. Like they could be having like 4, 5, 15, like I have no idea compared to the 0, 1, or 2 that a provider guy's having. So just think of like all those huge amount of genes being spread to all those like people. And this is a thing that they actually found, science has found, there's such a thing as the cheater's gene. And so it's an actual gene, and a guy can choose not to act on it, of course, but a lot of them, won't. And so that gene gets spread to the kids. And so guess what? All those kids are going to be having the cheater's gene. I don't really know how genes work, but 50-50 or whatever, if the mom's genes have that too, then now these boys and these kids are having the same thing, and now it's going to keep propagating. Whereas the nice provider guy with the good genes, the nice gentlemanly attributes, are having like 0, 1, or 2 kids, and those like 1 or 2 kids are having like 0, 1, or 2 kids. It's not spreading fast enough to help society, to help rebuild it. That's why in the East, it's taken so seriously. Like if a girl is found pregnant by a guy, like I don't know what happens, but they get taken care of. Like they make sure that it just gets like whitewashed because they know how important it is to have good genes going down and not let the bad genes go into the future. And that's why I think it's really rough. But like in the Old Testament, if you like read the Bible or study the Bible and stuff, that if a child was born out of wedlock, he and his descendants could not be part of the children of Israel for like 400 years. Like that is a long time. That is so many generations. Like it was that much of a curse. So even though we don't really live by that anymore or whatever, we can still see like how important of a thing this still is, or that it was and still is. So what is behind the psychology of all of this? Well, we all have a baser nature, right? We have our human side and we have our spiritual God side. And like how spiritualists like to put your lower self and your higher self, like however you like to look at it. You have your human, like fallen body, and and your soul, like from God. And yes, we all like try to go for the light, or not all of us do, but some of us. But we all, no matter if we're trying to go for the light or not, we still have that darker, baser nature. And if you believe in evolution, I'm not saying that I believe in evolution, but just like going through the science because I love science. Just got a text. My train of thought. Okay, but we all have that baser side, right? Which is be able to, which we learned from evolutionary sciences. So I'm just bringing it from that. Is for survival, like to stay alive as a species, we were just meant to, what's in our DNA is to survive, find food to eat and have kids and make sure they survive. That was the whole thing. So we still have that. So people are still like that gene, that basic nature is still in us, where a guy will try to like spread his seed and to keep his DNA going. And the girl can also have that same thing subconsciously. Of course, I don't think people are doing this consciously, where she's like, oh, if I like go with him, then his strong kind of like seed will be getting spread and I'll be getting to survive through that. And that's what's happening like with the people who are with Elon or especially like nowadays who aren't really getting married but having his kids, because they see it as like, oh, this is a powerful match. This will, this is all subconscious, I'm sure. I'm sure a little bit is conscious. And I'll be having like all this money and I'll be taken care of, and the kid will be having a good name and will be taken care of, and I'll be part of this whole like legacy thing. So that's my take on all of that. you guys drop your things down below. I think it's kind of just fascinating to think about. And yeah, but definitely have kids. I know it's scary. I'm still a little bit, on the edge with that, but I think it's a beautiful thing as well. So drop down your ideas in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Definitely like this video. I'll wait for you. And subscribe if you're new. And if you'd like to go check out any of the stuff that I have, just check out the description box. You can get on my email list, get your free gift. If you'd like to support the channel, there's the Cash App and some of my courses down below that are absolutely amazing if you guys are interested. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.